I just woke up, as you can tell. But it's really pretty. There's Tim making some tea and coffee, so I better get over there. Definitely want some tea and coffee.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Notier's Frontiers Diaries.
We are today in gorgeous Arizona, as you can see behind us. And in this episode, we're going to tell you all about our journey over to Arizona from New Mexico. We started off in Lake Ute.
Caught behind Venetian blinds, out of reach for the city lights. This ain't where I belong. Hey, look at me, man, what I've become. I've been running east, looking for a sunset, digging deep since '99. What I thought was gone was sitting in my pocket in plain sight all along. I think it's time for me to go, burn all bridges. All I know, I got lost along the way, fell between the foam, pulling stitches. Time to let go. Come what may.
Even though we missed the blood moon that night, it was really nice to wake up at this gorgeous lake out in the desert. Little did we know, well, I guess you kind of figure, but we were going to be heading into even more desert landscapes. Our day's journey was going to be making our way across the state of New Mexico. And we had been warned that there were some fires happening in the north, but luckily we weren't headed in that direction. We were just going west. But there was really just highway to go west. And we had learned our lesson from before making our way into Oklahoma that we really didn't want to do full-on days of just highway.
And we're not highway people, you know, and sometimes you get stuck into having to, right? But when we have commitments like the Overland Expo, you know, which we love and we totally want to be a part of, you know, it makes a little bit of a time frame. And
exactly. We're used to being extremely flexible, just go wherever the wind pushes us. But because of our commitments this summer, we did have to kind of go quickly to get to Flagstaff, Arizona, where the expo was going to take place. New Mexico is a gorgeous, gorgeous state.
Yeah.
I kind of think of it as like if Arizona and Colorado married and had a baby, and then that baby grew up to be something of its own. That would be New Mexico.
That is really weird.
So we're taking a little rest stop here on the side of the road. Found this nice spot here in New Mexico. You can see the bike over here. There's Tim. He's trying to fill up a water bottle. And we're gonna have some beef jerky and enjoy this beautiful view of all the colors of the desert. You excited for some beef jerky?
Jerky and water.
No, my love, don't worry about the cold just yet. The trees haven't started to shed. Just feel the sun.
Pretty quiet. Nice rural road in New Mexico.
Yeah, New Mexico is a fabulous place to, you know, that's where we first started getting our the tire T30, if you will.
That's right. It was.
And I definitely want to go back one day and be able to relive some of those experiences. Eating lunch at a giant table. Hi, Marissa.
Hi, Tim.
So we crossed the state of New Mexico and headed to a different campground that was next to a lake. And this one was Blue Water Lake. And it really was blue water. We put our tent under a little tree.
Yeah, it was pretty. And like we had a neighbor pull up right next to our, there's 150 options, and he's like, oh, this one's really, really, really nice, which is cool. We like people. We're not anti-people, but
it is just interesting. It's not. It wouldn't have been my first choice. If I go to a campground, I don't usually just pull up right next to the only other person there.
But it was nice.
Hi. It's already kind of comfy. We got a little bit of a view of the lake. And it's a really nice cool breeze. It's really nice here.
Yeah.
Very quiet.
So, what's happening over here? What's for dinner?
I'm making some chicken pot pie soup. And you have gross.
It's not gross.
It is gross. I've already seen it.
Well, we'll see. I haven't had it yet, but it's butternut squash soup.
Perfect. We also have, we're good. We also have some naan bread to go with it. So far, I've been really liking this campsite because we got to shower. The showers were nice. And we're having dinner right now, so it's pretty nice.
And we drove around like the little lake, the beach, if you will.
Yeah.
And it was cool.
They had showers, they had water, so that was really good, kind of to recharge ourselves.
Yeah.
The night was really, really peaceful.
Yeah.
We woke up the next morning.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi. Good morning. It's nice and early. The sun is just rising. It's not too cold though. I wasn't too cold in the night. It's a little chilly, but I know it's going to warm up because it's the desert. And headed towards Arizona.
Yeah, buddy.
Moon is watching shallow dreams. Night is rocking her to sleep. Wind whispers in the trees. Hidden secrets are hard to keep.
I didn't even know we were in Arizona until
Your dad told you.
my dad told me.
That's when.
Because we have this Garmin InReach, which is like our GPS that tracks us. And apparently he'd been looking at the map and he's like, oh, I see you're in, I called just to say hello. And he's like, I see you're in Arizona.
No.
Apparently we were.
I knew it. I saw the road signs.
Well, I have this big head in front of me, this
Thanks.
big helmet. I can't see the signs. I don't know what's ahead.
And we've passed that intersection, state line plenty of times before. And there's like these weird cliffs that have like, fake dinosaurs and stuff, all paper mache stuff. So this time it bit me and I was like, we have to pull in. And I needed some coffee. And they had those delicious little
burritos.
meat pie burrito things. So
Those were really good.
a very good stop.
We were really, really excited for this day, in our first day in Arizona, because we were getting off of the main highway and we weren't actually going straight to Flagstaff, where the expo was. We had a couple days, and so we decided to visit our friends in Phoenix.
Indeed.
And in order to get to Phoenix, you have to pass through these forests, they call them, or parklands, and there are forests there. we stopped by a lake that it kind of reminded me of Lake Stanley in Idaho, just minus the big jagged mountains.
Yeah.
But it had that kind of high altitude pine tree look to it.
Look at this, folks. Somewhere to put my key. Where'd my key go? Oh, right here.
Yeah, look at this. Wow, it's so blue and clear. The lake was crystal clear water.
Mm-hmm.
We ate some more of those burritos.
We had our bonus burritos.
Yeah.
Said Marissa just saw a bald eagle.
Yeah, and it was being chased by a crow. So I'm thinking that...
Who would win, a crow or a bald eagle? It's America.
Just say it's bald eagle.
Heck yeah.
It was beautiful.
Just like you.
Thank you.
And I'm the crow.
The guy next to us caught a fish.
Yeah, a little one. Catch and release, but it was cool.
Yeah, it was such a perfect little stop. And then we started lowering in altitude. The forests gave way to these gorges that opened up to just like ridges upon ridges of mountains.
Don't look before you leave. What you give, you get to keep. So long, farewell, bye-bye. Let's have a toast for those lost old lives. And my crooked little heart that seems so rebellious is falling apart right now. I'm bleeding, an easy kill, gonna leave it all behind. I think it's time for me to go, burn all bridges. All I know, I got lost along the way, fell between the fold, pulling stitches. Time to let go.
And coming down through that road was stunning. It was so dramatic and so unexpected.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was going to be so beautiful coming into Phoenix. And then the saguaro cactuses started.
Yeah, I thought they were like rare, and they're like just they're everywhere.
They're amazing. And apparently they're very old as well.
Yeah.
In order to grow one arm, I think it's like 40 years or 100 years or something.
Up. That's a dramatic leap.
I'm making
That's
stuff
6
up.
decades of I don't know. Yeah, no, they're cool. It was getting a little bit toasty too, so it was nice to pull over and, you know.
So we pulled over because look at this awesome cactus. Woo.
I was trying to find the perfect spot for that perfect cactus, but you know, nature has a way of, you know, we pulled over at a couple spots.
Yeah, to take pictures of the beautiful saguaros.
They're so huge that sometimes it's hard to capture everything that your mind is envisioning. You know, it's like, all right,
yeah, they're so tall that you can't capture it all in one shot unless you go portrait mode. But even then, sometimes they're just too tall. You have to be very far away. They were so cool looking. You can see all the little holes where the birds make their nests.
Yeah.
And I realized that we were getting into a very different type of desert. Before we'd been in more high altitude desert, we'd seen the pine forest, we'd seen the open landscapes, but now this was the Sonoran Desert.
Yeah. It was like Baja.
Yeah, it was like Baja. And it was our first time to the Sonoran Desert and our first time to Phoenix. So it was really cool coming down into the city. But I will say, it felt like 1,000,000 degrees.
It was really hot.
Super hot, but we stayed with our wonderful friends Wade and Mary Jo, and we had a great time with them in Phoenix.
Yeah, except they won't let you have a beard. Oh, really? A mustache, but not a beard.
Trying to move around. There you go. 60-second squadron.
And all of us together, we're going to go to the Overland Expo West in Flagstaff. So to go from Phoenix, that's about, what, 1,700 feet in altitude, and then Flagstaff is like 7,000 something feet. So you're rising in altitude a lot. All that heat from the Sonoran Desert kind of fades away as you go up and up and up. But before we could get out of the heat, we got stuck going up
17A or whatever it might be, but there was a car fire and that just stopped the traffic. I mean, it was 100 and something degrees out, and my bike, this is the first time I watched the little, heat temperature gauge, the oil temperature just crawl and crawl. It got up to like 240 something. I-17 on our way to the expo. It's 105 degrees, the oil temperature is 240. The bike is pretty much overheating the most that it's ever been. So I pulled over because we're not going anywhere.
That's really the only option, I think.
Yeah.
We're going up in the desert at 107 degree heat in stop and go traffic. It's just a worst case scenario for overheating.
Yeah, I'd much rather be on some trail a half a mile that way going, I mean...
Uh-oh, wait, there's a vehicle behind you.
Uh-oh. Sorry. I pulled over and, tried to let the bike figure out, to cool down.
Wade had gone ahead and he actually called us and told us there's this car fire, there's going to be a lot of traffic. At this point in time, though, there was nothing we could do about it.
No, and he was like, 10, 15, 20 minutes most ahead of us. And so traffic's still going, but, it's slowing. But
he had gotten through, whereas for us, it wasn't stopped in the beginning. It was climbing uphill in 108 degree weather.
Yeah.
And not slow enough where you could stop the motorcycle. So it was just like stopping, starting, first gear.
Like this BDR we've been doing, spoiler alert.
5 feet. That's it.
It was the worst scenario.
And I was hot and it was just...
I kept watching that gauge and I was like, uh-oh, Tim, I think the bike's going to overheat. And we kind of went over our options. And really, there's only one option.
There's no options. You pull over and you turn your bike off.
Yeah, that's the only option.
Or you watch your bike blow up and there's not only a car fire, but then a motorcycle fire.
So, yeah, it sucks.
Boo!
Some people ask us, do you ever get like heat stroke, or, you know, we're going through all these different climates all over the world. And the answer is usually the bike starts to overheat before we get seriously overheated, which I guess is good. It forces us to stop.
Yeah.
And take a breather. So eventually we had to pull over to the side of the road, and, you know, we drank some water. There were some other motorcyclists that passed us by because
they were going on shoulder, the rebels.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
I'm not
the
a
rebel motorcyclists.
I am not going to get a ticket 50 miles out of Flagstaff. So I waited patiently.
But they were all headed to the expo.
Yeah.
And eventually the temperature went down a few degrees and the traffic started going again.
Yeah, and I passed them.
Yes.
It was my time to break the law by trying to get airflow onto the radiator to cool it down.
Right. We can't go that slow on a motorcycle. You just can't.
We just have to go fast. It's just, that's what I've been telling her since the day I bought it. I was like, but this model, it only goes really, really fast.
Now everyone knows.
Now
you have to go fast.
I got the really, really fast kind.
KTM is ready to race.
Yes, this is true. Good job. Look at you.
Finally, were able to get the temperature down on the motorcycle enough that it was no longer overheating, and made our way over to Flagstaff, Arizona. So in the next episode, we'll be talking all about the expo and a really cool journey we made after Overland Expo West to Sedona, which is our first time having gone into the vortex.
But not our last time. Keeps on sucking you in and out.
That's right, keeps on sucking you in. So stay tuned, and I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give us a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below. Ding, ding. And we'll be seeing you next time.
Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.
Peace.